Hello, everyone. My name is Jesse. This is the auditorium where I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is the return of Final Fantasy X, FFX, whatever you call it. This is Wandering Flame, otherwise known as Wandering. This is requested by Zeramon 10 Hero and composed by Masashi Hamzu. I've been listening to a lot of Hamzu lately. Like in the past 2 weeks or so on the channel, there's been a lot of Hamzu from different games, so it's been a fun time. FF10 is an interesting game. I've had a couple of songs on the channel, and they all sound so different. Xanark and Otherworld and Seymour, like they're just all over the place. But that's Final Fantasy. So, anywho, let's move on. Wandering Flame, kind of a vague title. I have no idea what that means. Let's go. Soft synths. I know it's early, but it's like so relaxing already. I've had a stressful day, so I'm just like, ooh, I like it already. Town theme? Whoa. Hey. What's this? Ooh. This is fantastic. I love this. It's a deep breath type of song. Everybody take a deep breath. Spiritual. And it still has that good chord. There's a chord progression right there. Ta-da. And then it goes back up. It's gonna do it again. Ta-da. Oh, slightly different. Oh, man. I can't tell what that is. That may be a baritone saxophone. It's hard to say. I'm not an expert. FF10 is... I don't know. Oh, that is nice. Reminds me of Pink Floyd. Yeah, this is totally Pink Floyd. Sort of. You know, I can almost envision the comment section now. They're like, I would never guess Jesse would like that. And which is funny because I get that all the time because I don't know, they see me and I guess they just think I'm like a rocker or something, but no, that was fantastic. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about. First of all, FF10 is an anomaly, right? It's a collaboration work. It's the first PS2 game. There's a lot of new stuff going on. So there's a lot of new sounds. We no longer just have a sole composer. We have the original composer and two new ones, Hamzu and Nakano. I've heard them all at this point. And that kind of goes without saying, but the reason that 10 sounds so odd to me is because of these collaborations. These three, at least three, different minds doing their thing. And it does sound like they're doing their own thing. I don't think they had input from the others. I think they were each kind of assigned to bring up X amount of songs, no pun intended. So, you know, that definitely didn't sound like Nobuo and definitely didn't sound like Nakano at all. So, what did I write here? So, based on my experience with Final Fantasy now, which is still kind of minimal, like 4 games. For those that are wondering, it's been FF7 original, remake, 8, and 9. That hasn't sounded like anything so far. And not only that, is that for Hamzu stuff that I've heard, it doesn't really sound like Hamzu either. But then I have a lot less experience with his sound, but his sound is everywhere, he's been on my radar. Now, the thing about this is, based on my experience with FF and RPGs, is I can only imagine that song to be in a very ethereal type of town, like a town theme, or a world map. There is no other, well, there is another place I can imagine. That would be like through like a heavy dialogue section. But as far as a fight, conflict, boss, any sort of action, I don't hear that there. But then again, that has happened before in 7. I won't spoil too much, but there is a section of nice music where you wouldn't expect a section of nice music. If you know, you know. And that has this really big impact that has been one of the most memorable things that stuck with me. And I think anyone else who's played that game, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And like, whoa, you know, it sticks with you. So who knows? When it comes to Final Fantasy, who knows? But to me, you know, especially with the name Wandering, you know, makes me think like, oh, I'm just kind of out in the world or something. And world themes tend to be a little bit on the kind of open sound, which is, this one's wide open. There's no percussion here. There's almost nothing going on here. It's just drone synths with a, I believe, the type of saxophone, maybe? I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong instrument, but it's definitely a horned instrument. Now, the thing about songs like this is, I'm going to be honest, I feel like a song like this probably didn't take too long to write. If anything, this song sounded like it might have been an accident. Because I can't speak for every musician, but I think most musicians, including myself, when they come up with something, it's not like they have a theme in mind or I'm going to write this. It's just kind of happens from like just jamming and playing notes, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, what was that? And then just kind of from there stems off. And more often than not, when you do stuff like this, like just like a drone type of chord, just hold something for a while, a lot can come from that. Because as soon as you play a note and just hold it, that already opens up an entire world just besides just doing nothing. Because now you're in automatically a key signature You're in a family of notes. You can do something. And it's wide open. There's no time, there's no click, there's no percussion. You can just put notes somewhere. Ow. Just hit my hand on the arm. So I could see that happening as a, like, for example, let's just take this for example. Like, say he's just kind of like sitting there reading notes or something, and then like with one hand he's like, and he's like talking or something, and then all of a sudden it goes, he's like, whoa, what was that? You know, like that. I could totally see that happening. And then from there on, it's just smooth sailing. Oh, what if I just did nothing and then just make it like an ambient thing and then put a couple of little horns here and there? So I'm speaking from a musician standpoint, but that's probably how that came to be. That's my guess. And to be totally honest, the reason I bring that up is because if you are a musician watching this and you've ever felt like a writer's block, or you don't know like what to do, like if you're lost with jamming and you don't want to just do the same thing over and over, just look up like a drone backing track in any key, like just, I don't know, pick one. And you'll just hear a note over and over, and then just play and see what happens. Obviously you want to play in that key, but like just do stuff and things will happen. It's kind of like the best way, in my opinion, to get over some kind of like hump. Anyways, this one has a bit of a, what I like to call about like talking sounds. I don't have like a word for it, but it sounds like the instruments are having a conversation with you. In this case is the, let's just call it the horned instrument, whatever, or saxophone, whatever you want to call it. But you can tell it wasn't like doing a solo. It wasn't doing runs, scales, or even a melody. It kind of was doing a melody, but it was more like just kind of like just kind of in and out, like a conversation, kind of like this. I pause, I stop to think, I talk, etc. Right? It has that feeling. So it has this kind of feeling of like something is there with you, and basically I'm trying to say, without sounding rude, is like it sounds like just not a lot of thought went into it. It's just straight up a piece of art that was drawn, and that's what they stuck with and drug it out for 4 minutes or however long it repeats. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Not every song has to have, there's no rules to music, you know. And by default, doing that, now that sticks out as far as the soundtrack goes. That sounds like nothing really on the channel. There's not a lot of stuff like that. You know, most people gravitate towards like rhythms and, you know, stuff like that. But this is just maybe 5 notes played. So it's very interesting. And the more I listen to FF10, obviously the more intrigued I get, because it's built its reputation as basically one composer's sound. And then in this one, it seems that just goes out the window. It is no longer just a sound that you can expect. Even though Nobuo himself has a lot of variety, this doesn't sound like any other soundtrack in FF that I've heard so far. And that's saying something. Every single song from FF10 so far, because I'm hearing them all obviously like out of order in different places, they all sound so different. Different genres, different energies, different everything. It sounds like a mixture. But that was cool. I really like listening to stuff like that. I actually like listening to stuff like that before bed and all that while I stare at that thing at the ceiling. But of course, I would like to know where that plays or what the context is here. But Wandering Flame, to me, sounds a bit of a town theme or world theme. But who knows? But that was great. Hamzu does it again. Very diverse composer, man. Anyways, kind of rambled on about musicians' brains, at least mine. Thank you, Zara Mountain Hero, for that. And of course, to the FF community, and especially the FF10 community. Big thank you to my Patreon members that you see right here supporting me. I cannot be here without them. Thank you. And my Platinum members who get priority in my requests. Those are Kevin, Patrick, Terry, Vanadel, Callanan, Gardeline, Pepita, Justin, Knox, and Triad 101. Until next time, my friends, I will see you. My name is Jesse in the auditorium. Take it easy.